Good evening. Thank you, Your Honor, City Council members. The Moscow Public Library, owned by the City of Moscow, is seeking $25,000 in additional funding, which includes a $10,000 contingency item in order to complete the planned modernization of the entryway to the library. The project is currently funded at $125,000 in this current fiscal year's budget, and the library has recently committed $50,000 toward the project. And a fundraising campaign is currently underway by the library. The design is specified and drawn by Hodge and Associates, has a preliminary cost estimate of $190,000, and when we add in an 11% contingency, the number comes up to $210,000. So library representatives are seeking additional funding from the city in order to complete the project without making further cuts to it, as the design integrity of the entryway will be compromised with further reductions to the scope of the work. A bid opening is currently planned for March 27th, and at which time the exact costs of the project will finally be known, and if a suitable bid is received, construction work would commence in April, weather permitting and full funding available. This was reviewed and recommended for approval by the Public Works Finance Committee on February 25th. And I'll take any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Council members have questions for Tom? And I understand we have our Library Planning Committee here as well. So, yeah, anybody? Okay.
I guess my only question is the tree still going?
Yes.
But the tote stays.
Yeah.
Would anybody from our library group like to speak to this evening? Any comments from you? Okay. Walter, the Public Works Finance Committee took a look at this, and Tom indicates that you recommend approval.
Yes, ma'am, we did. Gary, I had one question that was raised with City Supervisor was the $25,000 source of those funds. And Gary, you may want to speak to that. It seems there were some capital projects that did not come to fruition this fiscal year, and leaves those funds in the budget and available.
Yeah, I may have sent an email out to the council on that. If I didn't, I apologize. We have in the general fund buildings capital item, which is the source of the $125,000 original appropriation that the council put toward this project. We have about 52 or 58,000, I could look at the number, funds that are in there for several projects, mostly City Hall centric, having to do with historical improvements to the building, lighting, outside lighting, maybe some plaza improvements, those sorts of things that have to do with
the basement.
Yeah, actually the basement project, the assessment is underway at this point and will be part of the council goal for this year for the facilities plan. But there was a revolving door downstairs at one time, which we're currently looking into the historical nature of that. Those were projects that we were looking at perhaps bringing forward this year. However, there are grant funds that may be available, and there's a lot of historic work to be done. We've got names of a repository in Washington, D.C. that we still have to get information from. So they won't be constructed this year. So that frees up sufficient funds to put this $25,000 toward this project if the council sees fit.
Right, which is not to say that the City Hall projects will
Sure.
Evaporate. Those are all, have been enthusiastically supported by historic preservationists, by members of our own Historic Preservation Commission, myself, and looking at historic accuracy about safety for egress from the southern entrance to City Hall, and with the illumination that would come from those light fixtures,
Yeah, they're
as
merely
well
out
as
of
the
sequence with the
energy
budget.
efficiency. That's right,
Yep.
the energy efficiency that may be brought by the reinstallation of what appears to have been historic revolving door on the first floor.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, but that's not going away. So we're excited about this library project. Okay, that answer your question, Walter?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Other questions or comments? Okay, Walter.
Therefore, I would make a motion that we approve the request for $15,000 of additional funding for the Latah County Public Library front entryway upgrade project with an additional $10,000 construction contingency fund, and that we wish you luck with the bids on March 27.
We have a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have Walter's motion, Tim's second. Any discussion before voting? Hearing none,
Get going
Mr.
here.
Oh, Wayne, go ahead.
Well, I'll just
please.
make a comment that this 2-year stint I spent on the Historical Commission made me quite involved in the restoration of City Hall with the lighting and the revolving door, and I think that's a great idea, and I think it does need to remain on the radar. However, I do think that the $25,000 being spent on the public library I think that's a better use of the money than putting into the City Hall at this time anyway, so I'm all for it.
Very good. We'll start the roll call vote with
Aye.
you.
Aye.
Aye.
The motion
Aye.
carries.
Aye.
Congratulations, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you very much.
Okay.